Thank you very much indeed, Charlie and Tom, with a little bit of Rebecca sprinkled at the start. That certainly wasn't too turgid, was it? That was a fantastic result, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think we might have let them off the hook. Just a little bit. We're going to get into everything that happened in that game, which I think gave us a certain amount of hope at the start of the game. It's quite funny, isn't it? You score first, then you concede. It feels a little bit negative, the complete opposite what happens against Tottenham. But let's just have a little bit of praise, I think, for what we've done there. That is a magnificent Manchester City team. You looked at their starting lineup, it was out of this world. You look at the players they're able to bring off the bench. They're such a good team, and we have suffered at the hands of this fantastic team from Pep Guardiola. And today we did all right. What am I talking about? We did very, very well indeed. Right, okay. Look, I'm just going to say it now. There's a few players here that I just want to pick out early on. I want to talk about Balbuena, Masuaku, Rice, Souček, Antonio, and Fabianski in particular. Right, okay. So the game started off, we were a little bit under the cosh. Two really good and important interceptions from Soufal, but I really thought we were motivated. I thought we had a high intensity to us. I thought we were playing fast football, if you like. There wasn't an awful lot of support. We weren't. If you've watched a few of the videos recently, I've commented on how many shots we've had against the opposition. That really wasn't a feature of today. I didn't think there were times when Bowen got a little bit of joy and got down the right-hand side, and there wasn't a lot of support for him. Antonio was sort of trying to get in there to help out, and Fornals was just too slow for today. And you all know, look, I've done a specialist Fornals fornicator video only 2 weeks ago. I think the absolute world of him, but I think he was the wrong pick for this game. Of course, he wasn't picked in the starting lineup. A big surprise not to see Lanzini start and, of course, feature at any point. But I don't want to be too negative. I think the only thing is I was so pleased to be winning that I just thought there were certain things that we could have done differently. The substitutions, I thought we were so slow by the time we'd finished making our substitutions that we weren't able to counter-attack. But anyway, I'm not really dealing with it in chronological order. Let's get to the goal. So Souček managed to Souček made a mistake, and then he managed to retrieve the ball sort of near the corner flag. He played the ball back. The ball hit his arm. Let's be fair. The referee didn't deem that it was a handball. It certainly wasn't an intentional handball, but you've seen the sort of thing given in the current climate of VAR. He played the ball back to Soufal, who's hit a first-time cross, a very, very good cross, and he started this game really well, Soufal, by the way. Crossed the ball into Antonio, who's backed into the centre-back, held him off, and done a scissor kick. But he's got his back towards goal. He's done a scissor kick. It's absolutely wonderful. Bicycle kicked it into the back of the net. A fantastic goal. And I think it's quite evident, really, that we have a very, very good Premier League striker on our hands in Mikel Antonio. He did go off injured later on in the game. I don't know what that was for, quite honestly. All I would say in terms of positive news, he was able to walk off the pitch in his own steam. There was no stretcher. There was no physio on the pitch for any prolonged period of play. I think he'd given it all of that to enable him to for the substitutions to be made. So he came off the pitch. We were sitting deeper than before in this game. I've got to say that space that had been behind the defence was not there today. So clearly there'd been, even though the shape was roughly the same, there'd been a tactical switch in terms of how far we were positioning ourselves up the pitch. We were a lot deeper, cut out the space in behind. I do think that was the right move because there's such a talented team. And the best thing I can say about that first half was they've got some great players, but people like Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling were frustrated. You could see they were actually getting quite annoyed with how badly the game was going for them, really. And they just didn't look like... To say they weren't a threat wouldn't be entirely accurate. And they had a bit too much of the ball for my liking, but you could see they were frustrated. They weren't enjoying playing against West Ham. And I do think this is starting to become a feature of the current team. We're nasty. We're not very nice, basically. And I'll take that because we've been bloody lovely for too long. If you go and watch that game again, if you haven't seen that game, the last 5 minutes of that first half, I'm going to say something that, again, sounds silly coming out of my mouth. We were all over Manchester City. Last 5 minutes and a half, we were all over them. They couldn't wait to see the back of us. I can tell you that now. We were attacking. We were outnumbering them, 2-for-1s, doubling up, triangles, all the shapes, not just triangles. We were all over them. And at half time, I didn't really want it to come, but it did. It always does, doesn't it? And then we got in for half time, and Pep Guardiola made some changes. It was quite interesting because he changed the shape a little bit. He changed the personnel. He took Aguero off and brought on Phil Foden. In the end, that was to prove our undoing in terms of the win. But I did think it was a tactical victory for West Ham, tactical victory for David Moyes in the fact that Aguero just couldn't have any impact in us at all. I've mentioned the other guys earlier, Mahrez and Sterling and so on and so forth, because I did sort of notice them. All I can say about Aguero is you barely noticed him during that game. And I think there's a lot of credit goes to West Ham for the fact that he hauled him off. Unfortunately, all I can say is, whilst West Ham and David Moyes were enjoying the 1-0 win and probably the tactical upper hand, I think someone must have passed around a tray of Horlicks and a couple of hot water bottles and some teddy bears or something, because the team came out half asleep. I have to say the team, West Ham. Man City came out full of vigour, full of vibrance, and the tactical switch had very, very much worked for them. Man City's best player in the first half was Cancelo, and so it proved to be, because Cancelo, he basically completely did a Soufal, ran down the left, squared the ball over very, very early on in the second half. Foden was a bit unmarked. I think I need to see it again, but he was sort of, maybe we should give him a bit of credit. He seemed to fall between the margins and between the space between Balbuena and Angelo Ogbonna, and he finished on the turn, finished with a spin. But he did finish very, very well. I think it's an avoidable goal, but I don't think there was anything we could have done with the cross coming over. Cancelo was just too good and too quick for Soufal there. Maybe if Ryan Fredericks had been there, but I'm not so sure. But had Ryan Fredericks been there, I don't think we'd have scored the first goal. So there is that, and we've got to give Soufal some credit for that. Did 2 game-saving interceptions and tackles earlier on in the game before we'd scored. So that was absolutely fantastic. It was disappointing then. I'd say the next disappointing thing that happened. Antonio went off, as I mentioned, and Yarmolenko came on. And let's be fair, we look. This is a review. This is a review of the game. This is not a review of the season or anyone's career. But that was a terrible performance from Andrei Yarmolenko. Sebastian Haller was to come on later on, but what are you doing? How must this make Sebastian Haller feel? Because what he did was he took Antonio off, put Yarmolenko on, and then put Jared Bowen up front. And at that point, I would have just been happy to take a draw because we were so slow. I mean, absolutely so slow. And I will reiterate, this is a good performance for us today. But I just thought, where is the pace in the team? There was none. Bowen wasn't really quick enough, or he couldn't hold the ball up enough for us to counter-attack, which is our thing. That's what we do. We counter-attack. And because he couldn't hold the ball up enough and there was no one quick either side of him, because Yarmolenko, who was having a terrible game, and Fornals, who's basically running through treacle all game, they just couldn't get up and they couldn't support. And it killed our game plan. I was really surprised to see him do that, Moyes. As I said, I don't want to be too critical of the team or David Moyes. A great result today. Really good result against a very, very good team. And you look at these fixtures, look at it. Look at what we've done, Tottenham. Look at what we've done. You know, this is fantastic. We've beaten Wolves, we've beaten Leicester, drawn against Tottenham, drawn against Man City. Nobody expected this. And I think David Moyes can honestly say today worked. I think everyone at West Ham can say today worked. We got a draw against Man City, and it did. However, bearing in mind we were in the lead, I felt we could have tweaked it. I felt we could have done something else. And I do feel we let them off the hook. And Yarmolenko, I just thought it was a poor choice at the time, and he was awful. He just had a terrible, terrible game. I don't want to beat up on him too much. But the hero against Tottenham, Lanzini, who... Look, Lanzini ain't the quickest player in the world, but he's quick. He's quicker than anybody else we had at that point, right? So he should have been there. The fact that Ben Rama was not featuring at all, again, it's just more of Moyes' caution. I thought there might have been an opportunity today. Maybe David Moyes didn't think that he was ever going to be 1-0 up and able to sort of offer a threat. But there was a point where where we sat back so much we couldn't offer a threat, and we wanted to counter-attack. Yarmolenko was ineffective down that side. Fornal was just too damn slow down that side. And in the end, he brought Bowen off and he brought Sebastian Haller on. And I'm not saying that Sebastian Haller was Teddy. You call him Teddy, of course, Ted. I'm not saying that Ted was lacking in motivation, because he got back and he actually did two really good things defensively. He got back and made a tackle and made a really good header. So clearly he was there, but it was just so slow. And I'm just really, I'm sorry, I'm conscious, I'm moaning a bit, and I don't want to. I am pleased with what's happened, right? But it just feels like an opportunity lost, if that makes any sense. I mean, someone's just put in there. I don't normally read the chat as I lose my train of thought. But someone, Ian Wilkins, has just said, "Caution got us a point." Gonzo, it did, Ian. You know what? It really did get us the point. But I don't think we could. I didn't think we need to sacrifice any of our really good defensive shape if we'd have just had quicker players on there. And at the point where you had Sebastian Haller, Yarmolenko, and the Fornicator, it was just. It was gone. And I'll tell you what that stops. I'll tell you what that stops happening is it means we can't advance up the pitch quickly enough, which means Aaron Cresswell, sounds ridiculous, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it means Aaron Cresswell can't advance up the pitch to get his crosses over. Now, that's the last thing I'm going to say in terms of a whinge, right? Because we did really well. And actually, the Fornicator did win quite a clever free kick, which he really had no business doing. And it was in that position. It was in that position that we like Aaron Cresswell to cross from. And we're just dangerous from there. You know, we're dangerous with our headers. It's such a big team on there. But at that time, Haller's on, Yarmolenko's on, added to all the other big geezers we've got on the pitch at that point. We really are excellent from set pieces, and we could have scored at that. And Man City had they had a bit of pressure towards the end, and a couple of those resulted in corners. And I think one of the positives that you've got to give to West Ham at the moment, I'm never concerned when team have corners. And actually, when it got to the end, Man City didn't even bother swinging it over. It really didn't. What they did was they played a little short corner so they could try and pass it in. Man City thought there's no point us crossing this ball into the box because West Ham are just too big, too organised, too dominant. And that is fantastic. And this is a very different West Ham, a very, very different West Ham now. Let me just see what I've written here. Yeah, pretty much was there. But we're a fit team. We're a fit team, and the telly I was watching there, the BT, was Glenn Hoddle was saying, "Oh, West Ham will tire," and West Ham's starting to look tired. And I think he got that wrong, because I don't think we do tire. I think he mistook our lack of pace for a lack of fitness, and it's not. We're fit. We keep running, and I think it got to the end, and that's why Moyes didn't want to bring Lanzini on, because whilst Fornals was not able to run beyond their defence and stretch them particularly well, although he did time a very good run when he was on the halfway line, but that was because City were pressed so high up on the pitch at that. Even though he wouldn't do that, he was doing the job. He knows what he gets out of Fornals. He knows he's going to not give them any opportunities, which the same couldn't be said for what was happening with Yarmolenko on the other side. We've got to give a massive amount of credit to Lucas Fabianski. Lucas Fabianski, I don't know. I don't know who you're watching this. I don't know who your man of the match is going to be. I don't really know who my man of the match is going to be quite yet. But I think it's been a little while since Lucas Fabianski was in contention for man of the match. Let it put it that way. And I think whether he's yours or whether it's somebody else's, your man of the match, Lucas Fabianski did two wonderful saves and an excellent punch out, may I say, which could have proved very, very dangerous. So a good game for Fabianski. I mentioned him earlier. I know there's a lot of people have joined the stream since I started. I would give proper big mentions, I think, to Balbuena, to Masuaku, to Declan Rice, to Souček, to Antonio, and to Fabianski. In terms of Antonio, who knows? Look, I guess it's a case of watch this space. Well, it's early on in the day, really, isn't it? What's the time? 20 to 3. So I maybe we'll even find out today the extent of Antonio's injury. Hopefully it's not too bad. As I say, walked off under his own steam. Balbuena, I wonder. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting how important Moyes feels it is to purchase another centre half. I thought he was on his way out. I now think he is. He's solid and a mainstay. And Masuaku, I thought it was his best game. In fact, I think I'm going to give Masuaku my man of the match today. Actually, I think it's Rice again. Was in contention for man of the match today, and this says an awful lot about us. And the more I talk, the more I'm really pleased with what's happened today. I think it's just the West Ham fan got the better of me. I wanted us to win. I felt like we might be able to win. It didn't quite happen. Antonio, we got a Premier League striker. The irony is we've tried to buy Chicharito. We're going to spend £45 million on Sebastian Haller in our pursuit to get a Premier League striker, and it turned out there was one at the club all the way along. We just weren't playing him as a striker. Thomas Souček, they were outnumbered. That's one of the things Glenn Hoddle did get right today, which was we were outnumbered in central midfield. But that was okay. That worked. And I tell you what, I think we keep momentum. I think we keep spirit. I think we keep our peckers up, which is what I said before. If you remember in the warm up, I think our peckers are square. Well, if not up, certainly not down. Horizontal, let's say horizontal peckers for the moment. Which again, not anything I ever thought I would hear myself uttering. Lots to be pleased with. Lots to be proud of. Lots to work on. This was Man City. Not everyone is going to be that good. We're good enough to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems. And what I'm going to finish with is just something that I look at now, and I'm going to really think of. I think the big difference that I've seen probably in the last year, and not just in the last year, what's probably been a hallmark of my time supporting West Ham, and I'm 46 now, was you often got the impression a lot of teams looked forward to playing us. We were a bit of a soft touch. I get the impression now that nobody looks forward to playing West Ham. Man City finished that game on the front foot, certainly. But I've no doubt that when they get in a dressing room, they'll be thinking, thank goodness we haven't got to play them next week. I really do. We've got more things to talk about. We've got Antonio to talk about. We've got the Lanzini situation, the Benrahma situation. We've got a cautious manager. We really do. But as somebody, and sorry, mate, I've forgotten your name, said in there, it was probably Moyes' caution that got us the draw today. Maybe someone else doing something else may have got us to win, but maybe that might have lost us the game as well. We got to be happy with that. And let's be fair. Let's just run through those fixtures very, very quickly to each other now. Newcastle, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City. Many people thought we weren't getting anything. And I'll tell you what, the biggest thing I can say about West Ham now is we won't. I can't see the Premier League table. I'm about to lose my voice, but which is good. You're pleased about that. None of us have to look at the Premier League table. None of us are worried about it. It's not even a concern. And I think at the start of the season, with a fixture list, most of us thought that we probably would be worried. Right. I'm going to go. More videos coming up on this channel. Don't forget, we've got two channels, this channel and the forum channel. Make sure you subscribe to both. Becky, the Beckmeister, will be coming up very, very shortly. I think on the forum channel, I think we'll have Jazz. We'll hopefully have Tom. A few of the other boys and girls coming up on this channel here as well. So there's going to be content to see you throughout the rest of the day. We've got Farmer Chris coming up on the forum channel, and I'm probably going to stick another little video up on there anyway as well later on today. Lots coming up, lots to enjoy. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Not a bad start to the weekend, I think.